Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest Colorado TV Translator Association.
If you have a news topic or event you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show runs Monday at noon and is uploaded to our YouTube channel and our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page to watch on demand. Today is September 10th, 2018. And now the news at noon.
According to the Durango Herald, human remains found in a wooded area just west of Alavita Court in June belonged to a 48-year-old Durango man who was killed in a homicide, the Durango Police Department said Friday. The badly decomposed remains were found June 27th, about 400 yards from the nearest home in West Durango. Through forensic science, authorities said the remains belonged to Dylan Gerald Douglas. La Plata County Coroner Jan Smith ruled his death a homicide. Smith said a toxicology and pathology test ruled out the possibility Douglas died of an overdose, and she said the scene was not consistent with a possible explanation that he laid down and died or that he was attacked by an animal. According to a news release issued by the city of Durango, Douglas's last known contact was May 18th, shortly after he was released from the La Plata County Jail. On that day, Douglas was seen on Alavita Court near where his body was later discovered, according to the release. Douglas reportedly moved around frequently and spent time at the former homeless camp that was located near the Durango Tech Center. Durango Police Chief Cameron Afzal said a resident in Alavita Court noticed a foul smell near his home for at least 30 days before the body was discovered June 27th when his dog uncovered the remains. Afzal at the time speculated the body could have been there for months. Authorities were able to recover personal belongings at the scene. The Durango Police Department is seeking anyone with information in relation to Douglas's death.
Reported in the Journal, photos Jim Mimiaga. A violent one-car crash Friday in Colorado on Highway 145 injured one man who required extrication and was transported to Southwest Memorial Hospital. The Ford SUV was southbound when it veered across the road onto the opposite shoulder, hit an embankment, and flipped end over end, according to Trooper Gary Smith of the Colorado State Patrol. The driver was injured and was trapped in the crumpled vehicle, which landed upright. Emergency crews from the Cortez Fire Protection District extricated the man using pneumatic cutters and spreaders. 2 children were in the car and were banged up, but not badly injured, Smith said. They were wearing seat belts and the driver's airbag deployed. A Good Samaritan stopped when she saw the accident, and the children who had gotten out of the vehicle went running to her, Smith said. The cause of the accident is under investigation. There was no obvious skid marks. Traffic was restricted for a half hour to one alternating lane during the rescue.
According to the Cortez Journal, with a photo of Liras, authorities are searching for a Durango man who is accused of kidnapping and holding at gunpoint 6 people, 5 of whom were children, in a car during a police chase Friday. Durango Police Sergeant Nick Stassi said the man is identified as Carlos Aliras, who has ties to San Juan County, New Mexico. As of Saturday afternoon, Aliras was still on the loose, Stassi said. According to Durango Police, Colorado State Patrol troopers attempted to stop a white sedan driven by Aliras around 12:30 a.m. Friday on County Road 210 and West Frontage Road near Centennial Shopping Center. Aliras fled, Stassi said, during the pursuit. Authorities learned Aliras had allegedly kidnapped and held at gunpoint his wife and 5 children in the car. Aliras is father to some but not all of the children. The vehicle was later located with the mother and children safe. Aliras had fled the area on foot and spent the night in a shed in someone's backyard, taking off the next morning, Stassi said. A warrant was issued for Aliras for kidnapping, eluding, child abuse, and domestic abuse. Anyone with information is asked to call non-emergency dispatch immediately at 385-2900 or 911. Aliras is considered armed and extremely dangerous, and anyone who sees him is asked not to try to apprehend him. Stassi said Aliras has a criminal past.
Reported in the Journal, photo AP David Zalubowski. Republican gubernatorial nominee Walker Stapleton got a gift from his Democratic rival Jared Polis, the lone spotlight on a high-profile stage. Quote, "I'm disappointed Congressman Polis chose not to be here," Stapleton said in his opening at Club 20's gathering in Grand Junction last Saturday night. He said he's a proud member of Club 20, the venerable coalition of business and civic groups from the Western Slope counties. Energy, jobs, roads, and water are political red meat on the Western Slope, and Stapleton brought his support for both to the Grand Junction gathering. Polis has pledged to move the state to 100% renewable energy by 2040. He said a healthy economy with oil and gas and a clean, healthy environment aren't mutually exclusive. Stapleton added, "I believe we can fix our infrastructure challenges for the long term. I believe we can invest in the future of our transportation system and attainable housing, whether it's on the Front Range or here in Western Colorado for our young people," Stapleton said. "But we cannot do it by driving the energy industry out of Colorado. We cannot do it by taking 230,000 jobs and $32 billion in annual economic impact out of Colorado." The sitting state treasurer noted that the taxes the oil and gas industry pays support water projects across the state. He said if politicians and regulations kill the industry, it would mean the end of water conservation efforts. Rural broadband, faster speeds for people out in the sticks, also is a big issue outside the Front Range. Stapleton said Colorado needed a governor who would negotiate with the big telecoms to finally get it done. Stapleton said roads and bridges need a specific source of revenue, rather than relying on the whim of legislative budget writers. He also said he would put an engineer, not a political appointee, in charge of the Colorado Department of Transportation. Much of the focus of the Club 20 events was not about the issues debated, but about who was and wasn't there in a region that takes offense to bias towards the Front Range, which feasts on its diverted water and tourism mojo. Polis decided to skip the event, a 30-year tradition that typically kicks off the final spring to Election Day. Instead, Polis is scheduled to debate Stapleton in Grand Junction on October 6th in a televised debate put on by the Grand Junction, Daily Sentinel, Rocky Mountain PBS, and Mesa State University.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, a La Plata County woman was arrested after a brief standoff with police Thursday north of downtown Durango. Michelle Lewis, age 40, was being held Thursday night in the La Plata County Jail on suspicion of felony menacing, kidnapping, and violation of a protection order, said Commander Jacob Dunlap with the Durango Police Department. The standoff was reported at 5:24 p.m. in the 1800 block of Main Avenue, where Lewis was participating in a supervised visitation session involving her children, including an infant and a toddler, Dunlap said. Lewis is suspected of saying she had a gun and threatening people inside a business that oversees supervised visits from 102.5 West 18th Street. Dunlap said police responded to the business and coaxed her to come out of the building. When she came out, she told an officer she had a bomb and threatened to blow it up, Dunlap said. Lewis was taken into custody without incident, he said. As it turned out, neither a gun nor a bomb was located. Lewis said Lewis does not have legal custody of her children, Dunlap said. Her children were returned to their legal guardian. Officers took Lewis into custody within 5 minutes of receiving the call, Dunlap said. Police do not believe drugs or alcohol played a role in Thursday's incident. And now let's take a look at the weather.
The national weather map shows most of the western U.S. dry with a high pressure sliding south while a system from the Pacific Northwest moves in over Washington and Oregon, bringing potential for some rain there. Rains in western Texas and along the Gulf Coast in particular may be heavy and cause coastal flooding. And from Texas all the way up to New England, we see thunderstorms and rain potential with flooding possible from the mid-Atlantic up across New Hampshire. The major weather story today is watching Hurricane Florence. There's an increasing risk of life-threatening impacts possible from the storm surge at the coast and freshwater flooding from a prolonged heavy rainfall event inland, the National Weather Service states. It might be too soon to determine the exact timing, location, and magnitude of those impact areas at the coast and inland from South Carolina into the Mid-Atlantic region, so they are all on notice to monitor the progress of Florence as it comes ashore. The other concern is large swells affecting Bermuda and portions of the U.S. East Coast throughout the week, swells that may result in life-threatening surf and rip currents. Regionally, even though it looks mostly dry on the national map, weak thunderstorms are possible over the southern mountains of Colorado this afternoon. Lightning and brief gusty winds are the main threat. Increasing winds and dry conditions will lead to elevated fire weather concerns in the afternoon hours on each day from Tuesday through at least Thursday. So the 5-day local DCTV outlook shows a pretty calm week ahead for our area. Today sunny with a high near 83, south-southeast winds 5 to 15 miles an hour, becoming southwest in the afternoon. Tonight mostly clear with a low around 54. Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming southeast after midnight. Tuesday sunny with a high near 83, south-southwest winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, with gusts tomorrow as high as 25 miles an hour. Tuesday night clear with a low around 54, south winds 5 to 15 miles an hour. And then the rest of the week, it's going to be Wednesday sunny with a high near 82, south-southwest winds 10 to 15 miles an hour, with gusts again as high as 25 miles an hour. Wednesday night clear with a low around 53. Thursday sunny with a high near 80. Thursday night clear with a low around 51. Friday sunny with a high near 82. Friday night clear with a low around 52. Saturday night sunny with a high near 84. Saturday night mostly clear with a low around 53. And a reminder that we are asking viewers to email in their weather or outdoor activity shots to share here on the weather segment and online on our Facebook group page, Dove Creek Weather Photos. This is a sky shot from over the weekend. It looks like it may be similar views of the sky all week long. Post your shots on the Facebook group or email them to dcbnnews@gmail.com. And now, back to the news.
According to the Cortez Journal, an 11-pound Chihuahua named Spitz is on the mend after being attacked last week by a mountain lion, narrowly surviving. Lori Cullum was out for a walk the evening of August 28th with her 2 dogs on a trail near the Songbird subdivision off Florida Road, about a half-mile past Durango Sports Club. Spitz was about 60 feet behind her, Cullum said, when she heard a scream. Cullum turned around and found the 8-year-old Chihuahua lying in the dirt, not moving and covered in blood. Cullum ran toward Spitz and spotted a mountain lion off the trail. Cullum took Spitz to Durango Animal Hospital, expecting the dog would be euthanized, but veterinarian Charles Hauman, who took the after-hours call, believed Spitz had a chance to survive the attack. He cared for Spitz for 2 nights at his own home and nursed the Chihuahua back to health. Calls to Hauman were not immediately returned Thursday. Joe Lewandowski, spokesman for Colorado Parks and Wildlife, said Wednesday a wildlife officer went to the neighborhood and posted warning signs, but it is not unheard of that a mountain lion will go after domestic pets.
Reported by the Durango Herald, photos Jerry McBride. A new Veterans Center quietly opened last month in Bodo Industrial Park, south of downtown Durango, to provide emergency aid, free counseling, and a variety of other services to those in need. The nonprofit Veterans Outreach Center of La Plata County is run by veterans and aims to provide a welcoming environment that ensures more veterans receive services if they are homeless, jobless, or otherwise in need, said Candace Tart, a staff psychologist for the Department of Veterans Affairs. Many veterans have already visited the center in its first month, including some experiencing thoughts of suicide, said Jesse Sheets, a U.S. Marine Corps veteran who volunteers at the front desk. He's already seen the center make a difference for those in crisis and experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder. Sheets was homeless and unemployed before coming to the center in August. The volunteer staff immediately housed him and got him an appointment with a counselor. The center expects to employ Sheets through a work-study program while he works on his psychology degree, Tart said. About 2/3 of veterans visiting the center are from the Vietnam era, and the rest are in their late 20s and 30s and served in Iraq or Afghanistan, she said. The idea for the center germinated at a community-wide suicide prevention summit held in May of 2017. Veterans were a topic at the summit because they are at higher risk for suicide. An average of 20 veterans die each day by suicide, and most have not access to health care or have not accessed health care through the Veterans Health Administration, according to a 2016 VA report on suicide. At the summit, concerned residents identified the need for a drop-in center where veterans can walk in to see a mental health provider that same day without having to wait for an appointment, she said. Other communities across the country, including Cortez and Glenwood Springs, have similar drop-in centers for veterans. The success of those centers encouraged local groups to open a center in Durango. The La Plata County chapter of the Disabled American Veterans bought the building in Bodo Industrial Park in July to house the center. An anonymous donor also provided the center with operating funds for 8 months. The DAV has received federal grants for several years to provide services. The group has provided aid to about 1,500 veterans in the last year and expects to serve many more through the center, said Bob Collette, the DAV's Council Pro Tem Liaison for Veterans Affairs. The center cannot provide housing, but the staff will help veterans connect with representatives from Volunteers of America and the VA who can help with housing. Volunteers at the center also provide acupuncture, yoga classes, and energy healing therapy to help with anxiety, among other services. Tart said she hopes the center continues to expand its services.
Reported by the Cortez Journal with photos by Jerry McBride with the Durango Herald. The use of body cameras by Durango Police Department officers is slated to begin in early November with a 30-day trial, and public comment on policies that will guide their use began with a town hall meeting. In a meeting with officers, the main question we got was, "When are we going to get one?" said Commander Ray Shoup at the town hall held Wednesday at the Durango Community Recreation Center and attended by a half-dozen residents. 4 to 5 officers will use the body cameras during the 30-day trial period, after which all uniformed officers will use them. The trial period is intended to break in use of the new technology. As currently envisioned, a criminal call would be the main trigger that would key a responding officer to tap the camera to begin the recording process. Recording would extend to the end of the call. Most routine, non-criminal interactions with the public will not be recorded. In addition, cameras will be set to automatically record if a patrol car hits 80 miles per hour or if the emergency lights in the vehicle are turned on. Police Chief Cameron Afzal said younger officers are used to ubiquitous video and are eager to integrate cameras and videos into daily routines. Research shows departments that use body cameras see fewer use of force incidents because people interacting with police are less likely to resort to force or escalate situations if they know they are being recorded on video.
In some local sports news, reported in the Journal, squaring off larger schools at the Gunnison Tournament on September 1st, the Dove Creek High School volleyball team continued its hot streak with 3 wins in 4 matches and improved its record to 6-1. The Bulldogs opened the tournament against Crested Butte, which competes in Colorado's 2A classification, and coasted to a 25-16, 25-15 win. Cassie Gatlin, Madeline Hankins, and Bray Meyer all had 4 kills for the Bulldogs, and Gatlin led her team in serving with 5 aces. On the defensive end, Dove Creek was paced by Hankins, who was credited with 8 digs. Grace Hatfield and Meyer each had 6 digs for the Bulldogs, and Taylor Hickman led the team with 11 assists. Dove Creek's second match of the tournament came against Olathe, which competes in Colorado's 3A classification, and the Bulldogs coasted to a 25-15 victory. Gatlin and Hatfield again combined to lead their team in kills with 4, and Meyer and Hankins smashed down 3 kills each. Hickman led her team in digs, 12, 2 aces, and assists at number 9. Bulldogs' third win of the tournament came against Mancus, a Class 2A school, by a score of 25-16, 24-26, 15-7. Gatlin led the Bulldogs offensively with 9 kills, and Kiara Lengerfelter came up big for Dove Creek at the service line with 4 aces. Hankins led Dove Creek in digs with 10, and Hickman led her team in assists with 11. In the championship match of the tournament, Dove Creek squared off against Delta, a Class 3A school stocked with upperclassmen at nearly every position, and lost 27-25, 21-25, 15-13. Meyer led the Bulldogs in kills with 7, and Gatlin chipped in 5-point winners. 6 Dove Creek players had at least 10 digs, including Lingenfelter, Gatlin, Hickman, Hankins, Hatfield, and Meyer. Lingenfelter led Dove Creek in aces with 5, and Hickman led her team in assists with 12. Winners of 6 of their first 7 matches, Dove Creek's next match will come at home against Dolores tomorrow on September 11th. The Bulldogs will then square off against Norwood at home on September 14th as part of their homecoming week-long events. We'll tell you more about that in the happenings coming up.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of September 3rd through the 9th. Smoke was reported on Road 8 South. Dove Creek fire responded and the fire was extinguished. Smoke was reported at Cross Canyon. Dove Creek fire responded and the fire was extinguished. A stray dog was found in the trailer park. Goats were reported on the highway near Cajon. The owner was contacted and they were returned home. Cows were out on K9 and 9.4. The owner was contacted and they were put back in. A deer had been hit and was lying in the road at BB. State Patrol was notified. A little brown chihuahua was found on 8th Street. Animal Control was able to find the owner. Took a report of fraud aimed at a local resident. Officers are investigating. Completed a marijuana compliance check. Gave a courtesy ride to a local resident who was stranded in town. Took a report of trespassing and theft. Officers are investigating. Took a report of a lost mule in the Rico area. Report of vandalism to a vehicle's tires near Groundhog. Officers are investigating. That concludes today's roundup. Stay tuned for continued updates.
Today's High Canyon Country happenings. This week is homecoming week in Dove Creek. There's lots going on with the kids at school. Each day is a different dress-up day, so just to let you know what's going on around town. Monday is Cowboy Cowgirl Day, Tuesday Pajama Day, Wednesday Class Color Day, and Thursday Blue and Gold Day. And don't forget that freshmen also have different days, with Monday being Farm Animal, Tuesday Circus Sideshow, Freak Show, Wednesday Dress as Your Senior, Thursday Senior Choice. A few photos will be posted to the Student Council Facebook page, so like and follow their page there to see everything coming up this week. Thursday, September 13th at 12:45 is the Pep Assembly and Mr. Bulldog pageant. The parade starts at 3 p.m., 5 p.m. is the volleyball game and football game, and at 7 p.m. it's the Powder Puff football, followed by the bonfire. Friday, September 14th is the volleyball game versus Norwood at 4 p.m., followed by the football game versus Norwood at 7 p.m. Saturday, the 15th is the dance at 8 p.m. Support your hometown Bulldogs, cheer them on at the games and at the parade. All of these happenings are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, and original stories and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us by email dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station 970-677-4119.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs at noon Monday through Thursday and then is available online on our YouTube channel and our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page on demand.
Be sure to like us there on Facebook, join in on the news of our area, and of course, please share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook with DCTV and the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.